Okay, so this is the exam 3 review. On this video, we're going to look at problems 1 through 3. So number 1 says you lend $1,500 to a friend for 6 months at 5% simple interest. How much will your friend have to repay you at the end of 6 months, and how much interest did you earn? All right, so a few things we know. We're borrowing $1,500, or your friend is, so principal. Notice the time is in months, so we are going to have to fix that. Time does have to be in years. So our time, oops, two T's there, our time would be 6 over 12, which would be 1/2 or 0.5 years. All right, so can't have time in months, it does have to be in years. We have a rate of 5%, so we know that R is going to be 0.05. And notice we also see the word simple interest on here. So this is going to help us choose our formula. If you go to your formula chart, you have to pick one of these under simple interest. You can actually use either one. The one on the left's a little bit easier, so that's the one I'm going to use. So remember, on all math or finance questions, we want to show the formula, the plugged in values, and the answer. All right, so we know that the principal is $1,500. The rate is 0.05, and the time was 1/2 a year, or 0.5. So this one's pretty easy to enter in the calculator. You just multiply them all together. 1,500 times 0.05 times 0.5, and you come out with 37.5. Okay, so this is money, and we just found the interest. So this would be $37.50. Now we also want to do the amount repaid. This is also known as future value. And remember, for all of our types of interest, the future value is always the principal plus the interest. Okay, so we know that the principal was $1,500. That's how much you loaned to your friend, plus the interest. So they're going to pay you back everything that they borrowed plus the $37.50, and that's going to give a total value of $1,537.50. So that would be the amount repaid. All right, so let's move on to number 2. What is the future value of $5,000 invested for 5 years at 2.1% compounded monthly? How much interest did you earn? All right, so we're investing $5,000, so that's our principal. Our time is already in years, so that's good. Our rate, we changed that to a decimal, 0.021. And notice it says compounded. So we're compounding monthly, which means 12 times a year. So when we go to our formula chart, we did see the word compounded. So we have to pick from our compound interest formulas. The one we looked at did not say continuous, so that one is out. We have to pick between these two. So we use the top one when we know the principal and need the future value. So notice on our problem, we did know the principal. So this is the formula that we're going to choose. So S equals P times 1 plus I raised to the N. Now notice we don't have an I or an N marked. So if you go back to your formula chart, okay, if we look at the very bottom, we know that I is periodic interest rate, and it is R over M. N is the total number of times compounded, and it is M times T. All right, so I'm going to go over to the side and do these. So I is going to be my interest rate of 0.021. That does have to be a decimal, and we're compounding monthly, so M is 12. N is going to be M times T, so that will be 12 times 5, which gives us 60. All right, so now we're ready to plug everything in. So we're investing $5,000, that's our principal, parenthesis 1 plus 0.021 divided by 12, all raised to the power of 60. Okay, so we need to get that in our formula, in our calculator correctly. So let me put this right here. Okay, so 5,000 parenthesis 1 plus 0.021 divided by 12. I'm going to close that parenthesis and I'm going to raise it to a power of 60. Now this is going to give us the future value. That's what S stands for. So it's actually giving us this second one. So this is money. So $5,553.04. So let me write that over here as well. So then we need to think about interest. So if we take this formula and rearrange it a little bit, we get I equals S minus P. This makes sense if you think about it. Future values, the total amount that you're going to have after the 5 years. And if you subtract off your initial investment, whatever's left has to be your interest. So $553.04. Okay, so make sure you round to the nearest penny and make sure you include your dollar sign. All right, the last one we're going to look at on this video is number 3. What is the future value of $2,000? It's invested at 2.25%, compounded continuously for 1.5 years. All right, so here's our principal, the amount that we're investing. Our rate is going to be 0.0225. And notice it says continuously with a time of 1.5. So if I go back to my formula chart, look under compound, we have one formula for continuous interest. And when we see the word continuous, we're always going to use this one. All right, so S equals P times E raised to the RT. So future value will be $2,000 times E raised to the 0.0225 times 1.5. Now the trick with this is this needs to be in one set of parentheses, not 2 sets. That will mess up your answer, but only one set. All right, so if we go to the calculator, okay, we're going to type in the 2,000 times. The E button is usually above the natural log, so I'm having to hit second and then natural log right here. That gets my power of E. In that set of parentheses, oops, too many zeros, 0.225 times 1.5, and then I'm going to close that. All right, so that gives me $2,068.65, and that's going to be our future value. Okay, let me also write that over here. All right, so just like last time, we need to get the interest. So the interest is always going to be the future value minus the principal. All right, so the amount you ended up with minus the amount you started with. So 2068.65 minus 2,000. And that's going to give us $68.65. And that would be the interest that was earned over the 1.5 years.